Hi, I'm Mike Ridley and welcome to PowerBoat Television. Now, whether you're shopping for a new boat, used boat, your first or a replacement boat, sometimes you just may find the experience just a little bit overwhelming. So this week on the show, we're going to talk to the pros and source some boat buying tips for you. Hey Scott, how are you today?
Mike, welcome.
Thanks very much. Well, I'm looking for a new boat. Give me some advice. What is a first-time boat buyer? Where do they start? What do they do?
Well, Mike, the first thing you want to do is look at how you think you're going to be using the boat. Is it going to be for general cruising? Are you going to go fishing? Do you want to do water sports with a family? You know, those are some of the questions you have to ask first, and then we can start to tailor a package to fit your needs.
Right. Okay, so I've come into your dealership, I've got a list of things and all that sort of stuff. Tell me about picking a dealer. Where would I buy? What kind of things would I look for in a good organization, a good shop to work with?
There's a number of things you should consider. How long has the business been in business? Are they certified? There's a number of certifications that you can research and make sure the dealer has the certification. Are their technicians trained? Are they up to date? So that if you have problems, year 1, 2, 3, maybe year 8, that they're fully equipped and prepared to take care of any issues you have.
Do I travel for the best deal, or am I best to, buy locally? And why would I do something like that is the question.
Generally speaking, most dealers are in the same price range. We try to encourage folks to purchase their boat close to where they're going to be using it. You know, if they live in Toronto but use their boat in the Kawarthas, you may want to consider a Kawartha area dealer, because that's, if you have a problem, then you don't have to truck the boat back to the city. A dealer quite often can come out and pick it up, or maybe even do a dockside service call for you. Or if you need to bring it into the dealer, it's a short little jaunt into the dealership and not a lot of work. When you visit the dealer, one thing you may want to do is go back and ask to see the service department. Meet the service manager, meet the parts manager, look at what kind of inventory of parts and accessories they have on hand, and are they able to install it, and are they able to turn your service quickly in season. Especially, an unforeseen incidents such as hitting a rock with a lower unit. It happens in Ontario a lot. Make sure they're able to turn you quickly. Nothing's worse than going into the long weekend, nipping a rock and having the boat down when the family and friends are all up in the cottage and ready to use it. Let's make sure you have someone who's going to be there to take care of you. Another service we offer, Mike, is easy finance options. Most marinas in the province have business relationships with some of the biggest lenders in the industry, such as TD Bank, Scotiabank, maybe Royal Bank, and can often get competitive rates that you may not be able to get yourself walking into your local branch.
So I want to buy this. Give us some hints on how to shop for a cruiser.
Okay, well, right off the bat, I'd want to ask you quite a few questions. I want to know, is this boat just for yourself? Is it for yourself and one other person, a family? I'd want to know, where are you going to use this boat and how are you going to use it? Is it basically a cottage on the water? Are you just looking to overnight once in a while? So I have a lot of questions to ask, and then I'm going to do my best to hone you into what I think is a boat that is going to suit your needs. Usually the first boat you buy is a great experience, but it's not the perfect boat. And when you do spend time on that boat, you're going to learn, and you're going to say to yourself, my next boat will have a flybridge. The next boat I buy, it's going to have heat, air, and a generator. So often it's a great idea to start with a pre-owned boat, and then the more experienced you get, often the next boat might be a brand new boat, or maybe the next boat after that might be, again, a pre-owned boat, but a newer boat. And then eventually you might get to the point where you're going to buy a new boat because you know what you want. You're experienced.
Later in the show, we'll be back with more boat buying tips, this time talking about used boats with a broker.
Closed captioning is brought to you by BoatBuys.com. Ready to buy? Then head to BoatBuys.com, where you'll find thousands of new and used boats for sale.
Many of you might be dreaming of buying that brand new cruiser or shiny new bow rider for the family, but in actual fact, the budget leans more towards buying a used boat. So to cover that off, we're going to go meet with Mike Burns of North South Yacht Sales to talk about brokers. Right off the bat, Mike, the first question is always, why would I use a broker when I'm looking for a used boat?
Well, it falls into two categories. If you're looking to buy a boat, if you're looking to sell a boat. If you're looking to buy a boat, there's a lot of advantage of using a broker. Namely, there's a large selection to deal with. Also, we can help customers go through the buying process from beginning to end. So it's just not a matter of finding the right boat, it's going through that whole process, the buying process. And it's also safe handling of funds. We hold the deposits and we hold the final balances until all the conditions are cleared, and then we just disperse the funds. And when you're selecting a broker, you have to do your homework. It's like finding the right real estate agent for you. And as a broker, we can belong to different organizations. We belong to the Boating Ontario Dealers Association and the Yacht Brokers Association of America. And we'd have to adhere to code of ethics and meet certain standards to get that accreditation. So once we find the right boat, we help them go through the process, and then when they're ready to present an offer, we're there to facilitate both sides. And from an owner's perspective, they may feel their boat's worth a certain amount. From a buyer's perspective, it's another amount. Or sometimes the voice of reason to work things, out in between the two, and then go through all the conditions such as survey and sea trial and whatnot. And then if a survey comes up, survey is bound to find certain issues no matter what the age of the boat. So then we're there again to be a bit of the voice of reason, seeing what's appropriate for the age of the boat, and what might be a little bit more serious and needs to be attended to accordingly.
Okay. Reimbursement. How does a broker make their money in the business?
Well, typically it's a commission-based structure. Again, very similar to the real estate business model. So if somebody wants to sell you, if you want to sell your boat, you'd come to us, and then we'd say, great, here's the ins and outs of it all. We would work with you in developing, a fair market price, and it's usually based on sold boat data rather than asking prices. Asking prices can be all over the place, so we can be a little, we have access to sold boat data, and now that the market has settled down for the last couple of years, we can get some good accurate numbers, and that helps the seller. And then we basically go through that whole process, and a commission's only charged upon completion of the sale, so there's really no upfront cost to the customer.
Well, you've done it. You've found your dream boat. You've arranged the financing, you've signed the contract, and you're ready to take delivery. But there's one more thing you have to do, and that's make sure you find the right marine insurance to protect your investment. Jennifer, I've just bought a boat, or I'm looking at buying a boat. Why would I talk to a marine broker for insurance?
Well, first and foremost, the broker is going to understand your boat and understand the investment and how to protect it properly, as opposed to somebody that just does a home and auto.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're buying a marine policy, what kind of coverage would somebody be looking for in their boat, whatever type they might have?
Well, what you're looking for, you want to look for, first and foremost, if the insurance company has to pay you for your boat, what are they going to pay you for it? So you want to make sure the newer the boat that you are getting coverage called agreed value, no depreciation. Do you have emergency towing if you become stranded? Will they reimburse you for the tow? Another thing to look for is when you're dealing with a specific marine broker, generally that brokerage or the claims adjuster has relationships within the marine industry. And as we know, the summer's short, so you want to get back out on the water as quick as possible if you've had a claim. And knowing and having those relationships may be able to help that process.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed these great tips from the pros on boat buying, and your next foray into purchasing your first or your next boat is an enjoyable experience, and you hit the water with a smile.